A's Extra.
For the best coverage of Anglers baseball, it's the Hook Podcast.
It's gone into the Cardinals bullpen. Evan Longoria has tied the game at 4.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Jeff Belge loads the bases and somehow dances his way out of the jam. It is long gone. It's another torque bomb.
Now to your hosts, Ben Shulman and Emmanuel Berbari.
Welcome to The Hook, episode 3, as we head towards the 2021 season. He's Emmanuel Berbari, I'm Ben Shulman, and E-Man, it's been a bit of an extended break for us. We needed to nail down that right guest, and we have a great interview coming up later in this episode with Georgia Tech freshman and future Chatham Angler, Jake DeLeo.
And I think the key phrase there, Ben, is future Chatham Angler, because it's happening. We have motion in the 2021 season. We have a start date nailed down, announced this week by the Cape Cod League. June 20th is when the season will start. And we also have a Chatham roster that we're going to have a full breakdown on the Chatham Anglers website, of course, and a little bit of a teaser for you today with Jake DeLeo, who is a promising young prospect, one of many who will be heading to Veterans Field this summer. Really excited to chat with him, but also enthused by the rest of this roster that's shaping up to be very strong.
That roster is available right now on the Chatham A's website. There is still that breakdown, as E-Man said, coming up, but if you just want to scan through the names, you can see it already on the website. But let's take a little dive into it now. Usually we do the top 3 MLB players that we were looking for that used to play for Chatham. Shout out Andrew Knapp with a walk-off. But now we're going to do instead the top 3 players from the roster that we really want to highlight. So, E-Man, I'll dish it over to you first. Who do you like from this 2021 roster?
So let's stick on the Georgia Tech front first. Jake DeLeo has a teammate who's also going to be in Chatham this summer, Zach Maxwell. He is a freshman. He did pitch last year in 2020, but got that extra year of COVID eligibility. 6'6", 280 pounds. He is an opposing force on the mound. He's put together 2 quality seasons, still working on the command a little bit, but he's a power arm out of the bullpen. So, Ben, I can't speak for you, but those type of guys excite me, and I'm excited to watch him pitch in Chatham.
You excited me with 6'6", 280. I mean, if Chatham needs a power forward, I think they're in a good spot there. I'm going to go with another pretty big pitcher, and it may be a cop-out pick because we've had him on the podcast, but he's on the temp roster. Austin Vernon is just pitching still outstanding. Since we spoke with him, his last 4 starts, he's gone 6 innings or later in each of them. Only one time did he give up more than 1 earned run, and he's striking out people like nobody's business. 73 strikeouts in 8 starts this season with a below 3 ERA. He's going to be a lot of fun. Likely Chatham will lose him eventually to an MLB team, but while he's with the Anglers, it should be a ton of fun to watch Vernon pitch.
Should be. And before I get into my next spotlighted player, some of those temp players may look familiar to the Chatham faithful. You have a Colby Kubicek, you have a Dawson Merriman. These are guys who have made an impact on Chatham in the past. So beyond the main roster that you're going to be looking at, you may be seeing some of those familiar faces that have made a profound impact in the Cape League already. My next guy who's going to be spending his first summer on the Cape is Sebastian Keene. He was slated to be on the 2020 Chatham roster. Now he'll be on the 2021 roster. He's a right-hander from Massachusetts, goes to Northeastern. He's starting to round into form a bit his last couple of starts. A 9-inning shutout, 7 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs against UMass. Then against Hofstra, 6 innings of 2-run ball. He's a guy who was drafted by the Boston Red Sox out of high school as a Massachusetts native. So that was tough to pass down. And now he's kind of trying to put a stamp on his college career and get back into position to go to his hometown team.
I'm going back to the theme of big pitchers. There are a lot of big pitchers on this roster, and I'm dialing up 6'5" Trey Gibson from Liberty, another freshman who has broken into the Liberty rotation, and this is a really, really talented Flames team. He's 6-3 this year, just over 3 ERA, second on the team in innings pitched, second on the team in strikeouts, best opponent's batting average for any starter on the team, and he just pumps the strike zone. I think it'll be a lot of fun to watch him attack hitters. He can dial it up, obviously, with that massive 6'5" frame, and he's going to be one of the many trying to blow the fastball by opposing hitters.
I'm excited to watch all that power pitching, Ben. I really am. Since we're on the pitching front, I'm going to pivot a little bit for my third player. Tucker Flint is a sophomore outfielder at Maryland. A little bit of a crafty guy and still developing in his young collegiate career. So I'm not only interested in what he's doing right now, but just how he's going to stack up against the Cape League competition. A little bit of a depth outfielder for Chatham. And Tucker Flint, someone who has made big strides from his freshman to sophomore year. He was hitting about $180 last year. Now he's risen the batting average to 240, and he's been hot of late. So Tucker Flint, another guy I'm looking out for on the Chatham roster.
And then I'll stay in the outfield. Technically a two-way player, Caden Grice out of Clemson. He's pitched a little bit, but when he's swinging the stick, that's when he's really done his damage. This year hitting .330 as a freshman with an over 1,000 on-base plus slugging. I mean, he's been outstanding. He's got a lot of power, 14 extra base hits so far for Grice, including 7 home runs and 29 RBIs in 33 games. He's incredibly athletic. I think the threat of him doing that at the plate and then possibly pitching as well. I mean, we all have Ohtani fever right now, and seeing Grice do something even remotely like that would be a ton of fun. He's going to be making lots of great plays in the outfield for the Anglers and then potentially on the mound as well. Grice should be a really exciting Angler for 2021.
And one more note on Flint, Ben. He was drafted by the Mets late rounds in 2019. And you might wonder, why did he get drafted by the Mets? He's going to Maryland. He's starting his collegiate career. He had a .677 on base percentage to round out his high school career. So I think that'll pop out at a major league scout. And now he's trying to position himself again.
Maybe a future Euclid there. But that's our overview here of the 2021 roster. We like a whole lot more names than the ones we mentioned, but we don't have unlimited time. So to get to know one of the future 2021 players, a freshman at Georgia Tech, we talked to Jake DeLeo about his career thus far and coming to Chatham. Our first 2021 roster player guest here on The Hook. We have the pleasure of being joined by Jake DeLeo, freshman at Georgia Tech. Jake, thank you so much for coming on today. We really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
So how's everything going in Atlanta? I got the pleasure of actually visiting GT a little bit earlier this year, but how's the warm weather compared to us up in New York?
It's awesome. That was definitely one of my kind of decisions when I was on the recruiting trail. One of the things was I kind of wanted warm weather, and I came down here on my visit, and I think it was like beginning of March. It was snowing up in Connecticut where I'm from, and I came down here and it was 75 and sunny. So right off the bat, I was kind of taken back by that. And every day is a blessing to be able to go out there in warm weather in March and April.
You mentioned the recruiting trail that had to do with this past year. Can you walk us through the whirlwind of what this past year was like, going from a high school senior into the uncertainty of abbreviated drafts and then ultimately finding Georgia Tech?
Yeah, it was a really crazy year, and like you said, filled with a lot of uncertainty. For me, especially, I went to Avon Old Farms, which is an all-boys boarding school up in Connecticut, and we go on spring break. We have a Florida trip for baseball, thinking that we're going to come back and have our season, and I haven't seen a lot of those kids since, because we're from all over the country, all over the world. So right there, that kind of took me back. That was kind of the hardest thing for me, but I knew that there was going to be light again in baseball. So whether it be the abbreviated draft or Georgia Tech, I knew that I had to get ready. So I was working out every day, hitting every day, whatever I can, even with all the COVID closings. And when it came to the draft, I figured out that Georgia Tech was the place I wanted to be, and it was going to give me the best opportunity to play professional baseball at a high level and develop. So that's where I decided that I wanted to go.
You know, with pro baseball potentially staring you down coming out of high school, how hard was it to say no to an opportunity like that? I know you didn't end up getting drafted in that short draft, but you know, whether it was undrafted free agent offers, how difficult is it to turn down MLB to end up landing at a school?
It's definitely difficult because your entire life, you work and dream of becoming a professional baseball, and when that opportunity is right there on the table, it's kind of hard to say no. But for me, looking at the bigger picture, talking to my coaches at Tech, talking to my family and the people close around me, I knew that going to Tech was going to be the best opportunity for me, and I was going to develop the best opportunity to play the highest level of professional baseball.
You mentioned in a piece written about you last year that going to Avon Old Farms for your last year and going in that direction was the best decision you made. Who were some of the influencers there that made that such a significant choice for you?
Definitely a lot of my teammates and coaches, specifically Coach Dallin, Coach Doyle, Callahan, Hodgson. Those coaches were nothing like any high school coaches you'll ever have. The experience they had and the knowledge they had is beyond their title of a high school coach. And I think that's what makes Avon so special baseball wise, because the coaches there care about you and your future more than any other coach would. And they have the intelligence and talent as coaches that nobody does at a high school level. So I think them, one, a lot of my peers at that school, whether it be my teammates or close friends, that school had so many athletes, and it was kind of like a ritual that you were working out and getting better at your sport, whatever sport it was, every day. So after class, you'd go to the gym and the gym would be packed with like 100 kids, like hard to work out, but it was awesome at the same time because everybody was there wanting the same thing.
You were, a stud center fielder for Avon. Was there a previous center fielder that is pretty famous now with the Toronto Blue Jays that ever reached out and got in touch with you ever, or did he ever come back to the school at all?
I never got to talk to George while I was there, which I was pretty bummed out about. But during coronavirus, apparently he came back and was able to work out there, and a bunch of dudes saw him. And I think this past school year. But somebody that I was able to talk to who was there the year before me is Hudson Haskin, who's a really good player and a really cool dude.
Jake, I saw your first career home run and very compact approach, turned on an inside fastball and hit it out of the park. Who do you model your game after most when it comes to hitting?
I try to be Jake DeLeo, but at the same time, Mike Trout's the best player of all time. And obviously, if I can do anything or half of what he's doing, I think I'll be pretty good off. So I try everything, the way I play and the way I approach the game, like Mike Trout.
It's not a bad influence. It's definitely one of the better guys to look at. You mentioned how Avon helped you work ethic wise with working out and everything. How has that been taken to the next level at Georgia Tech now as a D1 college athlete?
So at Georgia Tech, it's not, I want to say baseball is kind of like your job, but it's not, because you're having so much fun. It's a job in the sense that the routine that you're in every day. So if you want to take fall practices, for example, you have a early lift 6 to 7, conditioning like 7 to 7:30, class like 8 to 12, practice like 2 to 5, 2 to 6. So in a sense that it's a job, yes, because of that routine, but doing the same thing every day, repetition, muscle memory, and working on new things every day to get better is what it's all about. And that's how you become a better baseball player. So in that sense, that's kind of how I've been developing at Georgia Tech.
You mentioned that routine, that regimen every day that comes with being a college baseball player at Georgia Tech. Given that it's been such a weird year when it comes to collegiate athletics, being in that routine and just having a distraction to go towards every day, how important has that been for you mentally?
It's been really important. And you said like kind of like a distraction from everything. It was also kind of a good thing in a sense with COVID going on. I mean, it sucks, but I'm also with online school and not being able to like see a lot of people, meet a lot of people. That's kind of been another thing that I haven't been distracted by. I kind of just get my work done in my room and then head out to practice. So it's definitely at the same time, like I feel like if I was a regular college student, I'd be a lot more bummed out because I wouldn't have my teammates who are like my best friends, my coaches, practices every day to look forward to, games to train for. So definitely that's been a good thing to kind of keep my mind off that. But not having the like social scene's also been kind of a good thing in a way because I'm 100% in on baseball.
It's a very mature take, I think, for a freshman. And you are one of 6 freshmen that are playing regularly for this Georgia Tech team. You guys are kind of like the Fab Five of baseball right now. What is that environment like to have so many young guys contributing so early? And the team's playing well. You guys are above 500 in the conference.
Yeah, I think it's kind of crazy to look at on paper. Whether it be true freshman, COVID freshman, it's still everybody's first full year of playing. And talent-wise, we're right there with everybody. I think we're one of the best teams in the country. And it's pretty cool to have so many freshmen and young guys on the team. And it's balanced out with some of the older guys in the team with being position players. You have Luke Waddell, 4-year, Austin Wilhite, 5-year, Justin Henry Malloy, 3rd year. So we kind of have the experience of the older dudes who are great leaders who put us on track to win and do things the right way. And then we also have all this young talent, which is awesome. Looking forward for the next coming years. We're going to be really, really good.
You still have a season to finish, of course, to compete for, but what are you most looking forward to about the Cape?
I heard Chatham's the best place in the Cape from everybody at Chatham that's played for Chatham, that's played for the other teams in the Cape. I heard that that's the best atmosphere playing baseball there with those fans. So I'm most looking forward to that.
So let's go through, how you made the decision to go to the Anglers. What went into that, and when really was the Cape League on your radar?
So as soon as I decided that I was going to college, I knew that I wanted to play in the Cape because that's the best league, best players, best teams, best coaches. So I knew that right then and there, even in high school, I knew that when I went to college, I wanted to play in the Cape. And in the fall, my coaches had let me know that there was an opportunity to play in Chatham, and I was stoked because I had I think there was 2 or 3 dudes that have played for Chatham on my team, and they said it was beyond awesome. Baseball, all the opportunities there, even the host families made life so much more fun. So when I got the opportunity to play at Chatham in the fall, I was stoked, and I took that immediately.
Given some of the answers, you definitely seem like a guy who's able to compartmentalize really well, have the right mental approach. What are you most looking forward to in terms of improving your game when it comes to this summer?
Definitely hitting wise. I'm going to be facing it's not going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, midweek guys, bullpen guys. It's probably going to be more like Friday, Saturday, like the best pitchers in baseball. So getting to compete against the best guys, the best stuff, being able to see what I'm made of, hitting those guys every day.
Coming in and playing so much as a freshman this year, does that help your confidence going into what could be a bit of a gauntlet in the Cape League?
Yeah, it definitely helps my confidence. Even just starting off here when you don't know, like beginning of the season before opening day, you don't know, you know that you're doing well, but you don't know exactly if you're going to play or not. You're a young freshman. You've never played before. You don't have the experience. Kind of there, even every few games, nervous because I wanted to perform. I've never been here before, and I wanted to show that I could play and I could play with these guys, even though I was a young kid. That's kind of what made me nervous. But playing every day gives me unfound confidence that I know that I'm here and this is what I'm made for, and I belong with these guys. Going into the Cape, I know that it's going to be a bunch of the best guys that I've played with and played against, and I know that I'm ready for it now.
All right, Jake. Enough with the serious stuff. A couple of rapid fire questions, if you will,
All right.
to wrap us up here. Your favorite walk-up song?
I do. Right now, I'm doing "Lord Knows" by Drake, and I like "Can't Be Broken" by Lil Wayne.
Now, if you're on the bus to a game, does that differ? Well, what's the kind of music you're listening to?
Yeah. Depends what kind of mood I'm in. Sometimes I'm in the mood where I want to get super hype, so I'm listening to like Young Jeezy rap, old Lil Wayne songs like that. Other times I'm trying to get hype, but I'm also realize that baseball is kind of an emotional game, so I can't get too hype. So I'm listening to just kind of like calming music, whether it be like if you know who Quinn 92 is, kind of like a chill vibe.
In terms of walk-up song, are you a pick my walk-up song at the beginning of the year and ride it out guy, or are you willing to change it multiple times in one season if you're not feeling it?
Yeah. I'm usually pick it at the beginning and ride it out. But I feel like if I started to slump pretty bad and I wanted to change things up, change things mentally, I would do that.
So you are a firm believer in baseball superstitions?
Oh yeah.
What's your most interesting superstition?
It actually just started. Sunday against Virginia Tech, I went 5 for 5, and I realized that I played the entire game with my hotel key in my back left pocket. So I've been playing every game with my hotel key in my back left pocket from now on.
So that's not leaving. That's not leaving.
No.
All right. Best thing about Connecticut that you cannot get in Georgia?
Delis and diners. It's kind of weird. I thought those things were pretty universal, but I come down here and there's not a deli or diner for blocks. In Connecticut, it's literally like lined with it. If you want to go get a breakfast sandwich, it's like wherever you live in Connecticut, it's like 2 minutes down the street, there's a deli that you can go get like a bacon, egg, and cheese. And here that does not exist.
Have you ever attempted to order a deli sandwich in Georgia? Because I'm sure you got a weird reaction.
Yeah, no, I've done it multiple places, including Georgia. I asked for like a hard roll, and they like don't know what a hard roll is.
I'll flip it on its head. What's the best thing about Georgia that you can't get in Connecticut?
The weather.
That's pretty easy answer.
The weather.
I've seen a lot of Springer comparisons. I don't know if that's too simple though. If you were to compare your game to someone, who do you think's your best MLB player comparison?
I don't know. I mean, I want to say tool set wise, Mike Trout, because I think I could do it all. I think I could play with all 5, but he's kind of the best player ever, so it's kind of hard to compare myself to him. But being in the sense that we're both from the Northeast and have those 5 tools, I wouldn't say that that's like who I could possibly grow into, but it's definitely who I want to grow into, and who I'm going to try to grow into.
Jake, one more for you. Is there a motivational quote or baseball phrase that always sticks with you when you try to lock in and stay focused on a given task?
I'd say yes. It's kind of, I wouldn't know if it's a specific like couple words, but something that my dad always says is that if I have a bad game or anything, it just says wipe this. It goes through my head now that he's not here with me in college. It's just wipe the slate. It's baseball. There's a new day, new game next day. So can't carry over that bad mentality, or maybe you took a bad couple swings, can't carry that over the next game because next game's a new game. even at bat wise, during the same game, you have a bad at bat, don't take that into your next at bat around the field. Just wipe the slate and get back to it.
Well, Jake, that approach has helped you to a very successful freshman year, and I think a successful interview as well. Thank you so much for coming on today and speaking with us. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you in Chatham this summer.
Thank you, guys. That was fun.
Thanks again to Jake for taking the time to speak with us. A really fun conversation with the Yellow Jackets freshman. And E-Man, what are some of the major takeaways you take from our talk with him?
I liked his mindset, first and foremost. There's a guy who's a youngster in college, and he has maturity beyond his years. His ability to compartmentalize and to really think about accomplishing a given task and also turning the page, which is oh so big in baseball. The other thing is when we asked him for an MLB comp, he loves Mike Trout, but he's too humble to really compare himself to Mike Trout. And I think a lot of people would be, because Mike Trout is Mike Trout. But he said he wants to be Jake DeLeo. And I think that's a recipe for greatness when you want to be yourself and establish your own identity. So my two major takeaways was the mindset, where he's really able to turn the page and think about what he wants to accomplish on a given day and a given season, but also the fact that he's just trying to carve his own path.
I was most impressed by his maturity as well. He's talking about it's better for him right now that there can't be, many social events going on for his baseball career. And look, you were a freshman in college. I was a freshman in college, man. Granted, not during a pandemic, so there are different variables. But, I think that's a minority mindset of freshmen in college to be like, it's cool that I can't have this experience right now. I need to focus on my work. So I think that is something that will really bode well for him going forward.
Oh, definitely. And I was reading a lot of stories about DeLeo leading up to the interview. And one of them, he indicated during the pandemic, look, I could pout about this, but everyone's going through it together. There's not one person in the world that has not been affected by COVID-19. So I found that really a beyond your years type mindset for someone who was really looking forward to getting into college ball. This is a Major League Baseball prospect, is a guy who had an opportunity to take that step, probably desperately wants to prove himself. And you have that stripped away and you want to just get back at it. But he was able to internalize the entire thing. And I think that mindset will benefit him not only moving forward, but we're going to see it this summer on the Cape.
Should be a lot of fun. DeLeo, one of the many incredibly talented freshmen on this 2021 roster. And we're going to try to get some more of those guys coming up, not just freshmen, the sophomores and juniors as well, from the 2021 team to come speak to us on the hook. But thank you so much for listening to episode 3. We will try to be back every single week with another interview with another player. And maybe we'll check on MLB again next week. We had to take a little break for the 2021 roster. But for Emmanuel Berbari, I'm Ben Shulman. Thank you so much for listening to The Hook. We'll catch you next week.